Hi guys, let's talk about politics and business. So which political party is in our interest? Well, as far as business goes, the Democratic Party is in an individual person's interest. And what is in an individual person's interest is not the Republican Party. The Republican Party is for, well, ultimately very rich people and ultimately world corporations. They're no longer like an American corporation, they're a world corporation. And so they don't really care about the interests of the individual American person, the individual American family, the individual American like homeowner. They don't care about that. They care about a world corporation. And what do they want to do with this world corporation? Well, they want to maximize shareholder wealth. And so you either are a shareholder or you're not a shareholder. And so if you are a shareholder, they want to maximize shareholder wealth. That's what they want the management to do. So anyway, if you're not a shareholder, they want to say like, whatever, you've got a stake in the corporation, but it's, they're not, their objective is not to maximize your wealth. Their objective is to maximize shareholder wealth. So what is this corporation? What it is it used to be an old sailing ship, and okay, people would try to like limit their risk exposure to the amount of money they ventured with this sailing ship. They're going sailing, whatever, to the South Pacific, India, the Western Hemisphere. They're going sailing, and they want to limit the amount of money they risk to the amount they put in the venture. So if the venture is like, goes south, the venture goes bad, they only lose what they put into it. They don't lose like other holdings. So basically, what they're doing is saying we want to limit our risk exposure, and yeah, we want to maximize shareholder wealth. So like they don't care about like the welfare of the people of the United States whatsoever. Never did, never will. You know, it's like they would be involved with imperialistic ventures. And okay, well, what an imperialist does is okay, they don't care about the people in the colonies at all. People in the colonies, the quote unquote free people in the colonies, well, they were brought here in what was called transportation, and they were rendered inferior. They were considered inferior stock. And so, as a person that was inferior stock, well, they could be dealt with harshly by whatever the captain or the master or whatever, and they could be whipped, they could be hung, they could be put to death, they could be pilloried, they could be tortured, and all of this without benefit of trial, all of this without benefit of jury, all of this without benefit of even a prosecutor. Just priest who's along for this venture thinks he can just do this to the good people of Virginia. See, in Virginia, you had to be a member in good standing of the Church of England to hold any position of prominence. And quote unquote inferior whites could be treated like that, as could their offspring if they were allowed any, and they could just do this to you forever, forever. And okay, they could just do this to you, and they have like a bloody code, and there's 500 things you can be put to death for. Whatever. If it's called a bloody code, and there's 500 things you can put to death for. So when Thomas Jefferson and others write the Declaration of Independence, uh, which some people in government still don't even agree to, they mention equality. Well, keep that in context. It's not what they consider today to be equality of outcomes. What they mean is like you got a right to live. That's what they basically say. You've got a right to life, liberty, and happiness. Because, okay, before we didn't have that because of this corporate venture, you know, and they want like a kingdom. an imperialistic kingdom. They want world conquest, and they want every knee bent to the Bonnie Prince, and they want every head bowed to the Queen of England. They want a world conquest and world subjugation. So people in the colonies, well, a lot of them were rendered childless and just worked to death. And well, okay, they want like, you know, people to pick in the colonies, people to plant and pick in the colonies. Well, they just pick them up on a ship anywhere in the world, like Africa, and they just bring them here. And okay, that's who picks and that's who plants. You know, and then of course, like they can render them childless, or as farmers, we want them to have children because, like, well, as soon as they're able to walk, well, they're out there picking because that's what their parents are doing. You know, it's like okay, they just go out in the field and pick with them. So every child born in the United States is a blessing to farmers because, well, as soon as they're old enough to walk, they just go out and pick. It's just what they naturally do because, well, their parents are doing that. You know, they just go out there, that's what everybody else is doing. So they just go out there and pick like everybody else. And I mean, as soon as they're old enough to walk, you know. And so every child born in the United States is a blessing to us farmers because, well, as soon as they're old, it's not because we're going to hit them with lashes and like try to force them to work. It's just, I don't know if you've ever been on a farm, but you just love to go out there and do it. I was just raring to go every day at 4 in the morning to go out there and feed the cows, you know, when I was there, you know, to go out there and feed the cows because the cow's calling you. The cow calls you in the morning, hey, come down here and throw down the hay and let me out. I want a drink of water, and yeah, I want to go graze. So, okay, you know, that's what you do every morning. The cow calls you. Nobody like stands there with a whip and like forces you to do this stuff. You know, you just go out there and do it. So, anyway, every person born in the United States is a blessing to us farmers. But anyway, Missouri's a farm state. But anyway. So, what we want with like the Democratic Party, we want agrarianism. We want this to be a farm state again. We want this to be a farming country again. We want it to remain a farming country. We never wanted it to stop being a farming country. So what does the Republican Party want with this world corporation of theirs? Well, they want this labor capital struggle with these organizations. Okay, whatever, they got this capital organization, the stockholders, and they got this labor organization, the union. And okay, they want this struggle. They're going to struggle for power. Well, who's got power? Either the man that does the job or the man that pays for the job. Yeah. Because, like, okay, this organization of stockholders think they have a right to take what you do, and they're going to tell you, with some dictator, what you get for it. Just tell you, you know, you're forced to work with this under the lash, and that whatever you do, well, they're just going to take that from you, and they're just going to, you know, do what they want with it, and whatever they're going to pay you, this like wage, you know, and they're going to tell you what you make for what you do. So anyway, they want unilateralism. They're going to tell you what you make for what you do, and well, we don't want that. We want like liberal for enterprise. Do for yourself. Okay, whatever you do for yourself, you can keep that. And well, whatever you do for yourself, okay, if you choose to sell that, well, you can sell that. Well, they want monetarism. Monetarism is thou may only sell or buy through the dictator or king's agents. So you're only allowed to sell through to or from an authorized agent of the king or the dictator. You're only allowed to buy and sell through the king's authorized agents, you know. And so you're only allowed to do that. So yes, you're quickly enslaved by the king right away. And so how do we have any basis for this? Well, there's been like the liberals fought the monetarists in like Wales and England, whatever, in 1636 or whatever, 1646, sometime around there. You know, okay, like they want to wipe that out of your history book. You won't be able to find much in it. But the liberals won. You know. And so this is a liberal constitution, it's a liberal country. And so, okay, what does that give you? The Constitution is a liberal constitution. Liberality is the law of the land. And so, what does that give you? That gives you a right to do for yourself. It also gives you a right to have what you do. Okay, there's also, let's say you have some excess. Let's say you do a lot, and okay, you have some excess. that also gives you a right to sell that excess, unless, of course, that's some type of dangerous, you know, production. You know, you can produce for yourself and you can sell it. You know. So anyway, these stockholders, you know, they're an organization, and like a lot of these, like whatever corporations, they want to collude together. They want to like gang up on you. And yes, they're imperialistic in nature. They're a world corporation. They're no longer an American corporation. They're a world corporation. And yes, they're out for world conquest. And yes, they like the Queen of England more than you. So anyway, the Yankees fought, the Civil War with British rifles. That's who was shooting at you. But anyway, liberals they say whatever. There's the ever hopeful, cockeyed liberal that's wants pie in the sky and stuff. But anyway, just stand up for yourself. You don't have to get in a fight with anybody. Just stand up for yourself. You don't have to let people take what you do. You know. And we would like to let you have some type of guaranteed income, and just let you do for yourself. You know. And okay, you've got a little of this guarantee because what other see the theory behind the store is it's a store of goods for you. It's where you're storing your goods. That's a store of goods for you. We just call it like a magazine. It's okay, it's a store of goods for you. Those goods are in the store for you. Okay, whatever. Your whatever federalism or your Uncle Fred, whatever. He's the storekeeper, and okay, if you put something in the store, you get some credits, dollars, and you can trade those for other whatever products or goods or items in the store. Theoretically, that's what you're doing. You did something meritorious. You put something in the store. They gave you whatever some credits for it, and okay, you can trade those credits for other items at the store, otherwise known as a price. Yeah, because it's supposed to go on in a liberal economy. That store, I don't know, they keep trying to say they're going to privatize the store and say it belongs to the store minder. That's your store of goods for you. It's you're the underwriter. The local jurisdiction is the underwriter of that location there. And whatever. And those store of goods, they're there for the local people. But your Uncle Fred, wants you, he's a store minder, and he wants a price. So Thomas Jefferson, he's a liberal Democrat, and he says that price is an artificial privilege. Okay, that's based on St. Thomas Aquinas. Price is an artificial privilege, but if you're going to go ahead and ask them, it's supposed to be fair to each party. It's supposed to be fair to the buyer and the seller. So, okay, your Uncle Fred is the seller there, and you're the buyer there. So these prices, these artificial privileges are supposed to be fair. And yes, there's laws in the books about looting stores and raiding stores and stuff, and you're not supposed to do that. Anyway, those goods in the store, they're for you. Your local jurisdiction. They're for the people of that local jurisdiction. But anyway, if let's say you're doing liberal free enterprise. Okay, let's say you did some excess. You got plenty. And okay, you can go knock on your neighbor's door and sell it. Or theoretically, you can put it in the store there. And okay, they give you whatever for it, credits for it. And okay, you can trade those credits for other items in the store. And so how does the store minder earn his living? He gets a little vigorish on it, a little differential. So he doesn't give you as much as he asks. He doesn't give you as much for your input as he asks for the output. So there's a little differential on it. So he makes a little. Okay, you lose a little, you make a little. It's you can keep the stuff you want. And okay, you want diversity on whatever your holdings. You want to diversify your holdings, and okay, you don't have to go out there and sell it, and sell it for a little less and buy it for a little more. The vigorish, is not supposed to be all that much. But anyway, see if you can get them to do that. A lot of them are doing cost plus 30%. That's basically the standard. It's cost plus 30% on just anything. Materials, labor, markup 30%. So anyway, that's basically what most of them are doing. But anyway, that's the ideal between liberal free enterprise. You do for yourself. And like, okay, if you're smart, you diversify your holdings. And you just do for yourself. And okay, you don't have to go out and sell or trade that much. But if you do trade, let's say, okay, us cotton pickers pick cotton, and the proprietors trade it for a barge of whatever crab cakes. Okay, we send them whatever a barge of cotton. They send us a barge of crab cakes. Okay, the crab cakes, like, okay, like whatever, they could put them on our porch, or they can just set them in the store. If they set them in the store, Uncle Fred wants some. You know. So a lot of time, like since Lincoln, they want they want to put the goods like in the store. And yeah, if they set them on your porch, well, they want some for that too. Yeah. So, but anyway, ideally, yes, you have a stake in this, country. And ideally, yeah, if you trade like a barge of, cotton for a barge of crab cakes, you're supposed to get some on your porch with like no questions asked. Anyway, but okay, like somehow they got their money in there. Somehow they made a matter of money. So as liberals, we do want to give you a guaranteed income. And okay, like if they're going to chalk these credits up, well, you get some too. You know, you get them for meritorious, whatever. Whatever. You get demerits for like whatever it costs or whatever. But anyway, so we want to give you a guaranteed income, and because well, they're going to charge they're going to ask these money. They're not supposed to charge. They're supposed to ask these prices. They're going to ask these prices. They think they're privileged. So like in the '60s, we would talk about the underprivileged. So basically, these people that are underprivileged, well, they're not getting their asking price. Okay, there's one party disagreement is getting their asking price. The other party disagreement isn't getting their asking price. So that's what we used to call underprivileged. So we're not supposed to be doing that to underprivileged people. And it's based on Jeffersonian democracy and the Declaration of Independence. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, they want to say the pursuit of happiness is synonymous with like property. So, like, whatever, you did whatever, and whatever, you're supposed to pay for that because that's your property. But anyway, they want to say, like, you want to get this money as if they get to take what you do. So, like, we want you to, like, well, they want all this stuff for what they did. So, we want to, like, give you at least a guaranteed income. So, like, if you decide to go, like, get some of theirs, you at least have some money to give them. And, so like they want like absolute marketing and price to rule the market. Just do for yourself, and while diversify your holdings, and then you don't have to trade as much. Because like basically, there's nothing in selling it down there and then buying it back. It's just always a loss. And well, how much is lost? Well, the vigorous isn't supposed to be that much, but it's usually what they usually do is cost. They mark up cost, materials and labor, plus 30%. Guy does all right there. He does pretty good. And it's not really supposed to be that much. The vigorous isn't supposed to be that much. But anyway, they keep trying to say the store miner, Uncle Fred, like gets all this money. The store miner in his bank gets all his money. And yeah, they got a law about looting, and like, well, it behooves you not to do it. So anyway, we want to give you some like guaranteed income for what you do. And we just want to give you some guaranteed income. And yeah, we want you to get some money like for what you do, so that, like you can trade, which will probably be at a loss. If you want to. We like trade to be like based on equity, fair to both parties. So it's like pound for pound, whatever. Several thousand pounds of cotton for several thousand pounds of crab cake, or whatever, And but it's like, oh, well, what to do? What are we going to do with the crab cake? Well, it's okay. They get set in the store, and it's like if you can get them to sit on your porch, more power to you. But anyway, you're not supposed to loot the store. They get mad about that. So anyway, don't start a food riot. You're gonna get along here in the United States. So anyway, so it's like I just think that like the Democratic Party is more for an individual person's interest. So what's represented in by representative personhood. your person. So these corporations, these worldwide corporations, well, they want representation too. Well, that's representing a foreign interest, and that's not representing a person. That's they want to say this judge wants to call it an artificial citizen. Well, a citizen's not a person, and it's a person or people that's sovereign here in this country, and always will be. People have thought otherwise before, but they didn't think that very long. So anyway, let's bygones be bygones. So anyway, we'll forget. Anyway, please remember, vote Democratic. Thank you.